Hey guys, it's Fiend Frenzy, and I'm just bringing you a video on Sony's recent sales. Sony is selling their stock, or shares, if you will, in Square Enix, which they owned about 9.5 million shares. And let me just read what the article says. According to the Wall Street Journal, the stock will book 4.8 billion yen, nearly, or why 4.8 billion? Nearly US 47 million dollars, or just nearly as much as $47 million in US, one-off profit for the fiscal quarter ending in June. The exact price for which the shares sell will be revealed on Thursday. The expected sale price is significantly lower than the 16 billion yen, or Y16 billion, nearly 157 million US dollars, that the shares are currently worth according to their current market value. Okay, a few things to say about this. One, it's good to see Sony is doing what it can to try to work its way out of this debt, because people just need to remember the PS4 is doing great, okay? But the other parts of Sony aren't doing as much. Honestly, when's the last time you saw like Sony television, Sony phone, back in the day, or back when I was a child, like let's just say the late 90s, Sony was like, if you wanted something quality, you got Sony. That's still the case. But the problem is Sony used to be both quality and used to be not too pricey. Not saying it was the cheapest, but it used to be not too pricey, at least what I remember. And now Sony has gotten so expensive. And the problem is that Sony used to have this huge jump over the other companies when it came to technology as a whole, basically. And now, I'm not talking about the PS4, by the way. No pun intended. And now, with anything but the PS4, it seems like everything else is almost caught up in a sense. You look at let's just go with televisions. Look at Vizio, look at Sony. Look at the price and look what it has inside the television. Okay? Because Vizio has some pretty good stuff, has some pretty good quality televisions, and they basically match or almost match to Sony's televisions, and it's like, why would I pay $400 more when they're basically the same? That's the difference. Now the problem with that is that Sony now is in a hole, and they're digging their way out of it. And I really think that this, to me, it's good that they are trying to dig out of it by selling stock, getting rid of stuff that they don't need. It sucks that they announced they're not only selling their PC division, but they're going to be firing about 5,000 employees. I hope and pray that those people can find better jobs soon, because, when they get laid off, that's going to hurt. 5,000 people laid off at once? 5,000 people added to the job hunt? I don't think they're in the same country, but still. All right, let's just, anybody else think this is like a kid who really wants to buy something, so he takes like almost everything he has and sells it? Or someone who owes like Big Johnny or something, like the mafia, money, and they're like, crap, I need to pay them fast, and they're like, just take it. They said they're selling this for 47 million, but the stocks, according to them, are actually worth about 157 million. So do the math. That is 110 million less than the stocks are worth. They're selling it for. At least that's the estimated worth. And the exact price hasn't been revealed yet. But they said it's around 47 million. But the exact price hasn't been revealed yet. But still, I'm like, wow. It's like it's like the guy who was buying the Big Johnny, who sells his car for $3,000 when it's worth $10,000 just because he doesn't want the mafia on his back or whatever. It just feels like that. I don't know about Sony's thing, but are they that desperate to sell these stocks for that cheap? I guess it's not desperate in the sense of dead desperate, but it's like 110 million less than it's worth. Come on. I just don't get it. If they could sell it, couldn't they just sell the stock announced they're on the market, sell them all individually? Do they need the money that quickly? Because I know it takes longer when you're selling the stocks individually or selling them in chunks by chunk, but do they need it that $47 million that quickly? That's my thing. Because if they didn't need it that quickly, I don't see the point of this exactly. But anyway, I'm not an owner of a big company. I doubt I could run a company like Sony. Don't really know what their situation is, and they definitely aren't telling us. They're Sony. They're a company. Companies barely ever tell you everything, so you never know what's actually going on. I mean, need Sony to survive. Hope and pray Sony still survives. Sony is Sony, and the PS4 is doing great. So I think Sony is set for now. I mean, once they get out of this debt, the PS4 will bring them back to prosperity, I think. They do need to make a new business model because they had the Vios. The Vios weren't that. I'm not gonna say they weren't good because I do know people like them and they did look good. They had good parts in them and stuff like that, but way too expensive for what they had, in my opinion. And the phones, I don't even know what phone Sony makes because Sony is just not that popular. At least that's what I've seen with smartphones. I don't know what types of smartphones Sony makes, but anyway. So if they make smartphones at all, but like I said, Sony really just needs to revamp, and I'm glad they're doing it. Even though that may cost them 5,000 employees, I guess in the end you do need to do what's good for the company. I mean, I hope that like I said, I hope and pray those 5,000 employees can find jobs elsewhere. But Sony is doing what it has to do to stay alive. Let's face it, if Sony didn't do stuff like this, they probably would lose all their employees because they would probably have to either declare bankruptcy or something like that. And I'm just saying, I mean, if these, because they're selling it right now to a broker or a firm, they're selling it to a global firm called Nico Securities. I wonder if Nico will resell it because they are a global firm. They may resell it for a much higher price, may resell it chunk by chunk. Too bad, because I think Nintendo should have taken advantage of this. Why? Because Sony was the third highest owner of stocks in Square Enix. Third largest shareholder, right? So, obviously, I mean, Square Enix used to make exclusives for Sony. Like, Kingdom Hearts being the biggest one, I think. I guess Final Fantasy too. Final Fantasy, I guess that was bigger than Kingdom Hearts, but I don't know. But what I'm saying is that lately, if you notice, Square Enix has been making its games for third party. So I'm just saying, if Nintendo were to buy all 9.5 million shares and be the third largest shareholder in Square Enix, I think that the company would all of a sudden be like, maybe we need to bring some games over to the Wii U. Maybe Kingdom Hearts 3 needs to go over to the Wii U. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. That'd be funny, like Nintendo acquires the sales. In other news, Square Enix announces Kingdom Hearts 3 for the Wii U. Completely unrelated, though. Be funny. Anyway, taking up enough of you guys' time with this video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Give me your opinions. You think this is a good move by Sony or a bad move to sell their shares in the Square Enix? All right, and for so little. All right, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. God bless.